Welcome back. One final point before we go tonight. Why isn't Michelle Obama proud to be an American? As you remember, when Michelle's husband was elected president, Michelle declared that this was the first time she was proud of her country. A shocking admission from anybody, but particularly disturbing coming from the First Lady. Then Michelle told young women like me that if we voted against Hillary Clinton, we voted against our own voices. As if we are too stupid to think for ourselves, as if we, as women, are not allowed to vote for anybody other than a progressive candidate who shares similar genitalia. That is, if we want to retain our woman cards. Where have I heard that before? This is why the American people rejected Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party. People are tired of identity politics. But Michelle Obama wants us to live in that dark and divisive world where race is more important than who people are. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but isn't that the definition of racism? Listen to Mrs. Obama.
Usually at the State of the Union address, where, you sit in the balcony and watch the State of the Union.
Like you do.
Yeah, like you do. You see it on TV, I'm in the room, but when you're in the room, what you can see is this real dichotomy. That on one side of the room, it's a feeling of color almost. On one side of the room, it's literally gray and white. Literally, that's the color palette on one side of the room. On the other side of the room, there's yellows and blues and whites and greens. Physically, there's a difference in color, in the tone.
Wow.
Because one side, all men, all white. On the other side, some women, some people of color.
The Republican Party is all men, she says, and all white. That, she says, is why people don't trust politics. What happened to Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream that his children would one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character? Oh, and by the way, Michelle Obama is just plain wrong, hilariously wrong, actually. Here's the Republican debate stage from last spring. Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, Ben Carson, Carly Fiorina, Bobby Jindal, Latino, African-American, Indian-American, and a woman, a high-powered CEO. And then we have the Democratic debate stage. Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, Jim Webb, Martin O'Malley, Lincoln Chafee, white, 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 white. One of these stages is bursting with diversity. The other is staffed with rich, old, white men. Which party do you think Michelle Obama is proud of? That's right, the party of the rich, old, white men, the Democrats. Here's Hillary's pick for vice presidential running mate, a rich, old, white man. Here's the Democrats' leader in the Senate, a rich, old, white man. And here are three high-ranking officials in the Trump administration, a woman, another woman, and a young woman. Michelle Obama, you've reduced yourself to fake news, and that is why people don't trust politics. And that's my final point tonight. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. If you liked the show, please send me an email at oann.com/contact. In the meantime, catch us here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Until then, have a good night.
Michelle Obama, looks like you're not proud of your country again. You told Oprah in an interview the country is now not hopeful. Michelle, you couldn't be more wrong. President-elect Donald Trump gives us hope. Gives hope to coal miners that they will have jobs. Gives hope to millions of Americans that they can dump Obamacare and choose their health care and their doctor. Gives hope to our armed forces that they have leaders in charge of our military. Gives hope to State Department officials that if terrorists strike again, they will not be abandoned like in Benghazi. Gives hope to law enforcement that they will have the White House behind them. Gives hope that inner city children can escape failed public schools. Oh, and gives hope to school children that they can get a decent lunch at school. You see, Michelle Obama, there now is great hope because you and your husband are leaving the White House. It's morning in America.
we look around and we all look alike, we're all sitting around the same table and we feel really comfortable with ourselves, we should question that at any table that we're at. And we should be working actively to mix it up so that we're getting a real broad range of perspectives on every issue. But I would see that in Congress. I mean, one of the most interesting points, I told you about this, usually at the State of the Union address, where, you sit in the balcony and watch the State of the Union.
Like you do.
Yeah, like you do. You see it on TV, I'm in the room, but when you're in the room, what you can see is this real dichotomy. That on one side of the room, it's a feeling of color almost. On one side of the room, it's literally gray and white. Literally, that's the color palette on one side of the room. On the other side of the room, there's yellows and blues and whites and greens. Physically, there's a difference in color, in the tone.
Wow.
Because one side, all men, all white. On the other side, some women, some people of color. And whenever I was sitting, I would always have a guest in that booth. And I was always the most embarrassed at the beginning when people would see that. Because I'd say that, is it just me? Am I looking at how governance works? And people look down at that and go, yeah, that looks good. That looks right. We're probably getting a lot done and we're doing it right. I look at that and I go, no wonder. No wonder we struggle. No wonder people don't trust politics. We're not even noticing what these rooms look like. But it's not just politics. I mean, I'm sure we can go in any C-suite in this country and we'd see the same thing happening.
Yeah.
So until we are ready to fight for that, which means some people have to be willing to give up their seats to make room, or you need to be ready to add more seats, I think we're gonna continue to struggle. Because if people haven't had the experience of being other and out, and you're trying to fix the problems of those folks, it's hard to come up with the right answer when you haven't lived it.